What's up everyone, guys? Jason here. Welcome back to another video. Today we have my AEW All Out 2021 reactions, and what a show that was. That's an all-time episode of an all-time pay-per-view, in my opinion. One of the best pay-per-views of all time. I loved every second of it. um I'm excited to get in and talk about it because I loved this show, even the buy-in, which we're going to start off with. But before I get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think of AEW All Out 2021. But the game has truly changed, and this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. And yeah, like the past couple of years, I've not been a big fan of WWE. I started stopping watching Raw, SmackDown, even NXT. So, and since AEW's come around, I've watched every episode of Dynamite. I've watched every episode of Rampage since that started. I try to watch Dark and Elevation most weeks, and like this show just feels like the game has finally changed, and there's finally real competition in town. And yeah, and AEW is just making me fall in love with mainstream, like quote unquote mainstream wrestling again. Which I've always loved AEW from the start, but it finally feels like this is big. This is a real thing. And yeah, let's get into it. Buy-in match. Best Friends and Jurassic Express get the win over the Hardy family office, which is Hardy, Private Party, and Angelico and Evans, with the Blade at ringside. The faces get the win as you'd expect in a buy-in. Get the crowd in, get the crowd happy to kick things off. Big return then as the Butcher returns. I've said it in previous videos when I talked about AEW. I'm excited for this man to come back. I love the Butcher, I love the Blade, and I'm happy they're back. The tag team division just got interesting again. Well, things like the tag team division, what happens later on the night, are very interesting right now. So hopefully we can see Butcher, Blade get some killer tag matches, maybe challenge for the belts against the champions. You already know who they are, but we'll get into it later. And then 10, John Silver, Varsity Blondes, a couple of people just make the run and make the save on run off the HFO. Now moving into the main show, we kicked off with a killer matchup. Miro defeating Eddie Kingston to retain the TNT Championship, and they did what I was kind of hoping they'd do. They left the door open for a rematch in the tennis arena that they are running in New York in a couple of weeks. Bryce kind of blocked Eddie from sending Miro into the exposed turnbuckle. Miro low blow, kick to the head. Game over. 1, 2, 3. And this match was what I wanted to be, a war, very physical as you'd expect with these two, and it left the door open for that rematch in New York, where I hope they run it back and give Eddie the belt there. I do really want Eddie to get the belt, but I was happy Miro retained here because I wanted him to run it back in the future. Jon Moxley defeated Satoshi Kojima, another killer matchup, another physical, hard-hitting battle. Again, as you'd kind of expect with Kojima and Moxley. As I've said before, big Kojima fan. Happy to see him in this spotlight, get a big match on pay-per-view against someone like Moxley. A big singles match, and yeah, he showed the world what Bread Club is all about. Kojima definitely held his own against Mox. Big fan of this match. And of course, Moxley gets the win and over Kojima, as kind of you'd expect. And after the match, out comes Minoru Suzuki. The King has arrived in AEW. Business has picked up, as JR would say. People are about to die because the King has arrived. Him and Mox trade elbows, gotch style pile drivers, sleepers holds. I was marking out Kase, Nina, Ray playing. I'm so happy Suzuki's here. And Wednesday night on Dynamite in Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati, Mox Suzuki. I cannot wait. That is going to be a war. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, successfully retains the AEW Women's Championship against Chris Statlander by a submission, of course, with the lockjaw. Another killer matchup, another match I enjoyed. I was like, how are they going to follow Suzuki? But they did. They ended up getting me invested in this match. I was a big fan of both these women, but you know, after Suzuki, I was just buzzing, and yeah, they were able to reel me in. I love this match as well, and Britt retains. Next up, the match that I predicted to be match of the night and a match of the year contender, and of course it has. And not only that, it is up there. My favorite cage match of all time was Britt versus Owen at SummerSlam. I think this has topped it. Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. Nick Jackson with a weird dyed beard. Lucha Bros with a big special entrance getting rocked to the ring. This was everything you'd expect between the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks inside a steel cage. A lot of insane spots. Phoenix doing a crossbody off the top, and yeah, the Lucha Bros eventually getting the win. I love this match. Highly recommend. Go out your way to watch it. This is an all-time classic of a cage match. Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, they delivered. I loved how they did a callback to. I loved how the Bucks, they used the thumbtack boot, because that match against Candice LeRae and He Who Shall Not Be Named is one of my matches that got me to PWG. I love that match. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. So having a little reference to that match with the thumbtack boot, I marked out for as well. And yeah, somewhere Candice LeRae just got a pin in her head all of a sudden. But yeah, Lucha Bros, new tag team champions. Very excited. It was love to see them defend against Butcher and Blade. But yeah, Ruby Soho then debuts and wins the Casino Battle Royale. Again, very enjoyable Casino Battle Royale. I do like Battle Royales, and I like the Casino Battle Royale. Ruby debuting and winning, it was good. I love when it came down to her and Thunder Rosa. That's a match I want to see one-on-one. They had a nice exchange there at the end between the two of them. And yeah, Ruby gets the win, and you know, Bryce Ramsberg gets in the ring, and like she just turns and hugs Bryce, which was a good moment. They probably would have known each other from when Ruby was in Chikara. So yeah, nice little moment there. Chris Jericho defeats MJF, so of course Chris Jericho doesn't have to retire. Again, another solid matchup. I really liked the ending to this. MJF gets the pin, but Jericho had his foot under rope. Of course, after using the baseball bat, after Wardlow and Hager were brought on the outside, distracting Aubrey, MJF used the flight, the baseball bat, cover 1, 2, 3, but Jericho had his foot under rope. The referee, who was out breaking up Wardlow and Hager, seen it, goes to Aubrey. No, you missed it. No, Aubrey's like, okay, since you know, we'll restart the match, considering if Jericho had lost, he had to retire. At least that's what the reasoning I'm feeling is why the match was restarted. Nice little back and forth then between Jericho and MJF. Desperation, both going for submissions, both going for pins to try end it. And Jericho eventually gets the win with the Walls of Jericho. And yeah, that last couple of minutes, especially after the restart, I really did enjoy that. And yeah, another killer match. CM Punk defeats Darby Allin via pinfall, and again, Punk looked very good for his first match in 7 years. New gear, he had long tights on, which at first kind of looked weird, but I kind of grown on me. Yeah, Punk got the win with the GTS. There's a nice way. Like Darby was up on his shoulders going for something. Punk ended up like countering it into a GTS for the win. There's another spot, GTS, where Darby fell to the outside. And yeah, really good match. Started off slow, you know, building into it, building it up. And another killer matchup on this great show. Post match, CM Punk and Sting. Sting comes out to Darby, shakes Punk's hand. And yeah, very happy Punk's back. Looked very good. Excited to see where he goes next. Yeah, Punk gets the win, and of course, as you probably have expected, Paul White defeats QT Marshall, and this was kind of what I was hoping, just nice quick match. Dominant for Paul White, you know, just taking out all of the factory, and he eventually gets the win. Match didn't go too long either, it was about 3 minutes. So yeah, other than that, the shortest match on the card was the pre-show, which went 9 minutes. Everything else went over 10. So yeah, this was decent. You know, a bit of a cool down between the Punk match and the main event. It did its job. It had that's like its purpose, kind of just cool down the crowd a bit, let the crowd get their breath back for the main event. And yeah, Paul White gets the win. Kenny Omega then defeats Christian Cage, and Christian Cage had a ring jacket, so you knew main event Christian Cage was showing up. And I really enjoyed this match. There's a nice couple of spots. You know, Christian went for a spear off the apron through a table. Kenny did his double foot stomps on the table that he had done in Japan. He done it in one of the Okada matches, probably multiple Okada matches actually. And the finish, Christian was going to go for the unprettier or the kill switch off the top rope. Kenny counters it, gets him up on shoulders, one ring the angel, 1, 2, 3, and gets the win in 21-20. And a very good matchup. I really enjoyed this matchup, as I have with every other match on the card. Post match, he cuts promo saying he's the greatest champion, and that anyone who can beat him is either retired or dead, and stuff like that. And then Adam Cole, baby, music hits, out comes Cole, and kind of stares down the the Elite, and he super kicks. I believe it was Jungle Boy, because the Elite were beating down Christian, and Lucha Express came out, or not Lucha Express, Jurassic Express came out to make the save. So I believe it was Jungle Boy who he super kicked. Celebrates with the Elite, and then I believe they start beating him down again. Out comes Bryan Danielson. Rise of the Valkyrie starts playing, then transitions into another song, and yeah, the crowd's going mental. Everyone's yesing, and he stands alongside Jurassic Express and Christian to fight off the Elite. And yeah, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Minoru Suzuki, Ruby Soho, all debuting in AEW tonight. What a show. Loved every second of it. Very excited to see what happens with Bryan and Cole, what happens next with Punk. Does Suzuki stick around after the Mox match? Probably not for too long, because he'll probably end up going back to Japan. And yeah, really enjoyed the show. Loved every second of it. One of my all-time favorite pay-per-views. Let me know what you thought. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.